Hi, guys. Hello, friends. How's it going? Hey, Sam. Hey, Molson Man. Hey, Amelia Sparkles. Thanks, Molson Man. I'm glad you like it. All right. Well, suppose we should get started. Hey, Tony. Good to see you. Listen, y'all. Now, you know your girl doesn't like to just judge a whole ass state. Okay? But Ohio, I'm going to need y'all to get your shit together. Okay? I understand that everybody has a right to privacy and private citizens and yada, 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 yada. Okay? But when the popo is called to the stand and they opt out of audio and video recording, that's too much. Okay? And that is what happened today. So if you missed it, let me recap what occurred today in the trial, the state of Ohio versus George Wagner the Fourth. Okay? Hey, Cement Shoes. Good to see ya. So, I got up this morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I had my coffee, my 5-hour, my morning cig. Came in here, sat down, turned on, got on the live. Everything was going swimmingly, doing a recap, just waiting for court to start. And the state calls their first witness. And it is Bobby Joe Manley. And then they say, this witness has opted out of video and audio. Now, on Bobby Joe, I give her an absolute pass, okay? Because she is Dana's sister. She was the one who went over to Chris Sr.'s house like she did frequently to take care of the dogs. And she is the one that saw Chris Sr. and Gary Roden dead. Okay. And then she went to Frankie Roden and Hannah Gillies' house. And remember, the 3-year-old opened the door and the rest was just horror. Okay. So I understand why she would not want to be videoed or audio. Okay. She was an important witness for a couple of reasons. Not only because she was the person who called 911, she was the first person to see the scene, but she has intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the Roden family, what kind of people they were, how they functioned as a family. So her testimony would have been factual, but all of it would have been factual, but relevant to the actual crime, but also to speak to the jury about the kind of people that the Roden family were. But I understand why she didn't want to be video. I understand. So I started thinking about it, and I was thinking about George Wagner the Fourth's defense, which is essentially, I don't know, I don't show, I didn't go, I had no part of nothing, and basically it is not my fault I was born a Wagner. That's the really brass, that just breaks it all the way down. That's, hey, Quirky S, sorry. That is essentially what his defense is, okay? So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, I wonder how the family members choosing not to be videoed or even their audio to be played, how that would play to the jury, because the jury is hearing that. They were seated and everything when the judge said, okay, this witness has opted out, yada, yada, yada. So they're hearing that. And while I understand that them opting out of being videoed or audio, whatever, is not actual evidence that the jury is going to out loud together deliberate on, right? But they are humans. And if I noticed it, then they noticed it. And I wonder part of the if that's not going to play into this, the Rodin family was just like a step below the Firefly family from The Devil's Rejects. You know what I mean? And like, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, 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 if that isn't if these family members, because now you have to think about this, um, the Wagner family, the majority of them, right, are either locked up waiting sentencing or locked up awaiting trial. And so the actual perpetrators or the alleged, well, I guess alleged isn't the right word because Billy is still alleged because he hasn't had his trial yet. George is going through his trial, but Jake and Angela have pled, right? So the other, I mean, I don't think those were the only Wagners. Obviously, there couldn't have been because, Mima and obviously whatever. So I'm curious about how if part of the reason that Bobby Joe did that is because, she's very keenly aware that that there are other Wagners out there and perhaps she is in fear. And what she saw and had to go through, especially at Frankie and Hannah's residence, would have been, I can't even imagine the level of trauma to have a 3-year-old be awake and open the door, helping open the door and then leading you kind of where his parents are. And the baby is in between his parents and he's covered in their blood. I can't imagine what that would do to a person. I can't imagine. So I don't have like at all. I totally get why she opted out. Um, so the only person, there were 2 people who testified today that didn't opt out, and it was um, April Manley's husband, I think it was. He'll t- and I want to tell you guys now, the audio. It's not. He's very very soft spoken, and it's kind of hard to hear. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, there's closed captioning, but he opted, he said he would testify and he allowed he was, allowed video and photographs. So that's good. So we'll be able to hear what he has to say. So this live isn't going to be super duper long because his testimony wasn't incredibly long, but it was important. And, oh, hold on. I want to go over it with you guys. Of course. And I will say this, you guys. I was watching Court TV and I watched the chat when all of these people were opting out and they understood like I understand about the family doing it, but when the officer said that he didn't want to be filmed or allow his audio to be played either, people kind of were like, what, they were a little annoyed. And the other thing I noticed is that even though Law and Crime, obviously they're in there, they're recording it. It is what it is. What I don't understand is how come Law and Crime isn't doing some sort of, at the end of the whole day or whatever, because so many people opted out of the videoing, why there's not a recap. I mean, they're in the courtroom. Help us out. People, and that's the other thing. I was thinking about this too. Not all of the family can be there at the trial. You know what I'm saying? And so this is, I understand people's right to privacy. I really do. And I don't know how I would feel. I probably wouldn't want to be videoed either. But at the same time, and I get the family. It's the cop that I didn't get. I don't understand what the deal was. But whatever. Hopefully tomorrow, the next few witnesses they put on, that's not going to be the case, and I'll be able to stream and chat with you guys. Hey, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and all that business. But tonight, this is what we have. This is what we have to work with, and it is what it is. So, oh, for Pete's sake, are you kidding me? How is there no closed captioning? All right, so this is what we're going to have to do. I'm going to have to, I know what I'll do. Let me go over here. Let me see how I do settings. Let me mess with my mic. Let's see if I can turn it down a little bit. Wonderful. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to turn my mic way down, okay? So that when I play his audio, yeah, they opted out. Hey, Super Mama D, good to see you. Vincent's missing here. Hola. Kes Chick, hello. Yeah, so I turned my mic down, and which is fine because obviously I'm a loud talker anyway, so we're good there. And we're gonna play his audio, and hopefully, oh man, Sam, come on, I need some good news. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say. All right, here we go.
Mr. Wilson, the president, as Mr. Scheider, IFBCI and I.
Yeah.
Videotape or whatever.
Yes, Your Honor, he has consented to be.
Oh, paperwork. All right. So y'all turn your earbuds up or your TVs up or however. So what you think, Sam, none of the witnesses are going to agree, or it's going to be scant amount of witnesses that agree to be filmed? Like, I feel like the medical examiner, maybe any of the crime scene techs, they might not have an objection. Hopefully.
Or maybe seated.
Oh, okay, Vincent's missing here. Well, look, all I'm going to say is this. Tomorrow is a new day, and hopefully it'll be better. Hopefully there'll be more witnesses
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a
want to
good
testify.
lunch.
And
We begin
I mean,
our
I can
after lunch
understand the
session here.
video.
Is the state ready to call another witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may do so.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will be calling James Manley to the stand. Yes.
Before sitting down, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer unto God? Yes. You may be seated, and the state may examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. How are you?
All right.
Okay. Can you please state your name for the record and spell your last name?
James Manley,
Okay.
Manley.
Okay. And Mr. Manley, how old are you?
46.
Okay. And are you married?
Yes,
And who are you married to?
April Manley.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
26 years.
26 years?
Judge, could you have the witness keep his voice up just a little bit, please?
Yeah, the acoustics aren't great in here. That should do a pretty good job of broadcasting if you can stay pretty close to that long mic.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. So you said you've been married to April Manley for 26 years?
Yes,
Okay. Do you have children?
yes,
How many children do you have?
30.
And what are their ages and names?
27, I think, and 25, and 15. Oldest one's,
Please try to keep your voice up if you can.
If you maybe move your chair, this will amplify your voice. It's just not if you're very far away from it. Sorry.
I wasn't very far from it.
Oh,
What'd you say?
Said I wasn't very far from it.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, this is a recurring problem. Okay, so you said you have 3 children and you were telling us their ages.
Cody's 27, I think.
Okay,
Greg's 25. Josh is 15.
okay. All boys?
Yep.
Okay. And do you have any siblings?
My 3 sisters.
3 sisters, and what are their names?
Kathy's the oldest one. Dana was the middle. And Bobby Joe was younger than me.
Okay, and where do you fall into that lineup?
Between
oh, that's
Kathy
right.
and
He's
Dana.
the brother. I forgot.
Between
Sorry,
Kathy
you
and Dana?
guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you work?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Logan.
You do logging?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell us, how would you describe your relationship with your sister Dana?
Pretty good.
Okay. Did you live near her?
Yeah.
Okay, on the same road?
Yep.
Okay, you both lived on Union Hill Road?
Yep.
Okay. And were you aware that she had moved into a new place?
Yes.
Back in 2016? Okay. And how did you become aware
I
of
keep
that, or how did you
focusing
know
on
that?
the crack in the plaster.
She come out the house, said she got her place right out the road from our house.
Okay. And did you help her at all in moving in or anything like
I
that?
helped her with moving some beds in.
Okay.
And then helped clean some of the yard up.
Okay. And what kinds of things did you do to help her clean up the yard?
Just break leaves and sticks out of the yard.
Okay. All right. And would you say you had a good relationship with her children?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us, we know that Dana and Chris were married for a while.
Yep.
And then they divorced, correct?
Yep.
How was the relationship after they divorced?
About the same.
At the time, back in 2016, do you know where Frankie was working?
No, he's completely uncomfortable with this,
I
Sam.
know where he worked at. It's like remodeling houses.
I mean, he's
Remodeling
sitting
houses?
just
Okay.
feet away from the
And
guy
do you remember
who
who he was working for?
unalived his sister and his niece and nephew.
Stewart.
Say it again.
Donnie Stewart.
Okay. And was that an individual that had worked at the school too?
Yeah.
Okay. And then had a business?
Yep.
All right. And was your son Cody working with him as well?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware, or did you have any knowledge of Frankie doing derby car racing?
Yep.
Vincent's missing
did you know
ear.
that?
They're clearly
They're
zip
running
tied,
together?
not a safety
You ride
hazard
together?
at all.
We worked on it
Sir.
together.
Work on the vehicles together?
Yep.
Okay. And how many years would you say Frankie had been doing that?
He was around it from the baby.
Say it again.
He was around it from the time he was a baby.
Okay. He was around it from the
Yeah.
time he was a baby? Okay.
Hey, Max, good to see you.
Did he like hunting as well?
Yes.
Okay. You knew he had chickens?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know if those were fighting chickens?
You can tell they're fighting chickens.
Why do you say that?
Just the way they look.
Okay. Tell me, who doesn't know how to spot a fighting chicken. How do I spot a fighting chicken?
They're tied on a barrel or a cage.
Say it again.
They're tied to barrels.
Okay. Okay.
So they don't get together and fight.
Okay. So you keep them separated.
Yep.
Okay. And do you know if Frankie did that?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. That wasn't something that you went with him on or did
No.
with him? Okay.
Molson Man is the best welcome wagon any channel could ever have, and I'm so lucky. And we are so lucky to have Molson Man.
Okay. So can you tell us, back on April 22nd of 2016, where were you working at that time?
It was logging.
You were logging?
Yeah.
Okay. And who were you working for at that time?
Hobart, Montgomery.
Say it again.
Hobart, Montgomery.
Okay. And did you end up working that day?
No.
And do you remember why not?
Rain.
Rain? Okay. And how did you learn that you didn't need to go to work that day?
I went to call him from my phone, but my phone was out of time and used my wife's phone.
Okay. So you called your employer
Yep.
and he said not to come in?
Yep.
Okay. And
Oh, Kev's chick.
can
What's
you
your
tell us
parents'
what
name?
you did then after finding out that you didn't have to go to work?
I went out to work on my four-wheeler.
Okay. And what time would you normally go to work?
Yeah,
Who is
Usually-
writing?
about 7 o'clock.
About 11 o'clock?
7.
7
7
o'clock.
o'clock, I'm sorry.
Lady, this is a working man. Sun up to sundown, ma'am.
And while you were out working on your four-wheeler, what area of the property were you working on that?
Behind my house.
Okay. And while you were working on that, did you notice anything unusual happen?
When Billy pulled in and they took off after they got hold of mom and dad, and mom and dad left behind them.
Okay. So who is Billy?
One of my sister's friends,
Okay. Which sister?
Bobby Joe
Okay. And do you know his last name?
Morgan.
Okay. Had you seen him before?
I've seen him before.
Okay. So
Oh,
you knew
that's a cute
that he was your
name.
sister's friend?
Yes.
Okay. And were you present when he had a conversation with your parents?
I think
Nope.
there's a way to tell, and I bet you it's on YouTube.
Can you tell us approximately how long he was there at your house?
Probably maybe a minute or two.
Okay. And I guess I should establish, do your parents live close to you?
Yes.
Okay. And in a separate residence?
Yeah.
Okay, but on basically the same property?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see Billy Morgan pull up, and did you see him talking to your parents?
No.
Okay, what did you see?
Just seen him pull up, get out, walk up to the house, and then they went back to the car and went back out the road.
Okay, and then what happened?
And the way Dad took off, I knew something was wrong.
Okay,
Then I went to see what was going on.
okay. So you said your dad took off, and the way he took off, you could tell something was wrong.
Yep.
Okay, but you didn't know what was wrong.
Nope.
Okay. And was your mother with him?
Yes,
And then what did you do?
I jumped in my truck and followed him out to her.
Okay. So you're just, could tell it was urgent and you wanted to follow to find out what was going on.
Yep,
Okay. And
I mean,
where
can
did
you
go?
imagine? Bless his heart.
Frankie's house.
Okay. And were you just following them and just
Yep.
went where they went?
What? Kez chick, really? That's
And when you
fancy.
got to Frankie's house,
Should just
um,
ask her
what was going on?
or
And he
him.
pulled up and
You should just
cars
ask
was sitting
Charlie.
in the road and wondering what was going on.
Okay. And when you said the car was sitting in the road, whose car was sitting in the road?
Bobby Joe's car and Mom and Dad's car.
That
Okay.
happened to us too,
And
Molson
Bobby
man.
Joe's car, was that the car
We
that
were
Billy
told it was a
driving
girl,
Yes,
when he came to your
and we
parents'
named her
home?
Molly, and then Molly developed a
And-
coin purse and
Were
became
they still in
Ollie.
the vehicles at that time?
Orange
I
tabby.
think
I
he was
should have
done
known.
out.
That's when I learned that orange
Say it
tabbies
again.
are
he was
mostly
done
male.
out.
Okay.
Sorry, you guys.
And what happened then? What did you do?
I pulled up there and shut my truck off.
Okay.
Huh?
Did you get out of your vehicle?
After I shut it off and I got out,
Okay. And did you have a
Oh,
conversation
shut it
with
off.
anybody?
Okay.
not right then.
Okay. At some point, do you find out what has happened?
No, I walk up to the yard and see the Frankie's baby covered in blood.
I can't imagine that poor thing. This poor guy.
And what was Frankie's baby's name?
Ruger.
So you see,
How
Frankie's
is it we
baby
can
covered
hear
in
the
blood.
cougher louder than we
Um,
can
do
hear
you
poor
remember who was
poor
holding
James
the baby
here?
at that
Bobby
time?
Joe.
Bobby Joe. Okay. And do you find out at that point what has gone on?
No,
Okay. Go ahead and tell me at what point what did you do next after you see Bobby Joe with Ruger?
I asked her what the hell happened.
Okay. You asked Bobby Joe?
Yep.
Who is writing?
And can you tell me what she told you then?
He said that Chris and Gary's dead down at Chris's trailer and Frankie and Hazel's dead there.
Did you ask her any more questions at that time?
Nope.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I just stood there for a second.
Okay. How was Bobby Joe upset at that time?
I don't really remember.
What did you do next?
I went in Frankie's house.
I know. And
You
five,
went in
six,
Frankie's
seven,
house?
eight.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody
I
else
don't-
go into Frankie's house? with
Why
you at
is
that
the
time?
prosecutor
Me,
writing?
my dad, Cody, and Bobby Joe.
Oh.
So your son was there also?
Yeah,
Okay. Had he come with you or did he come in?
he drove his own vehicle.
Okay. Do you know if he was supposed to work with Frankie that day?
They were supposed to.
Did you see Frankie and Hazel?
Yes,
Okay. And can you describe what you saw?
blood everywhere.
You said blood everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you say blood everywhere, can you tell us where
It
specifically?
was on the body, on the bed, on the walls.
Hey, DC Primetime. Good to see ya.
Did you touch or move anything in that room?
No,
Okay. Did anybody touch or move anything when you were
not
present?
that I know of.
What did you do after you saw Frankie and Hazel?
Went back outside, got in my truck, and went to Dana's house to tell her what's going on.
And what happened when you got to Dana's house?
I knocked on the door, then the door opened by itself.
I'm sorry, you knocked on the door and what?
It opened by itself.
Bless
Okay.
this man's heart. I can't. This is hard for him. Ugh, I just can't.
So it wasn't completely latched or something?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And what was your intent when you went to Dana's house?
Tell her something was wrong with Frankie and Chris and him.
Okay. After you knocked on the door and it opened, what did you do?
I yelled her name.
Did she respond?
No.
Then what happened?
I kept yelling her name, went to her bedroom.
And still didn't get any response?
No.
Okay. And you said you went to her bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay, and you knew where her bedroom was? In that
Yes.
house. And what did you do when you got to her bedroom?
I kept yelling her name.
I don't want to be
Did
this
you tell
person,
if she was in
Vincent,
the
but
bedroom or
hold
not?
on a sec.
Couldn't tell.
But if you'll notice, here, let me, right here, I don't think that they're fixing any audio issues. I mean, they're not even fixing the cracks in the plaster of the walls that are holding the building together. So I feel that probably audio issues are not high up on the priority list.
It was dark in there.
Okay. So what did you do then?
I kept yelling
Yes.
her name. And
M5,
Tell
6,
them
7,
again.
8. Dana is his sister.
She's
Dana and
there.
Bobby Joe are his sisters.
Just feeling around on the covers or the blankets
Yeah.
to see if she was there? Okay. And could you tell if she was there or not?
Yes.
Okay. And was she there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do next?
I'll be right back, but I'm going to be in
I was
chat.
trying to get her awake.
Trying to get her to wake?
Yep.
Okay. Were you like
Just tapped her with my
patting on
hand.
her body? Okay. And still on top of the covers?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what did you do?
And kept doing that toward her head.
And when you got to where you thought her head was, what did you do?
And I felt like a pillow over her head. I started to pick the pillow up and you feel it stuck. And I just let loose of it and went out of the house.
Okay. So you started lifting up the pillow, but you could feel that it was sticking
Yeah.
or it was stuck?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said then you ran out of the house or went
I
out of
just
the house?
turned around and walked back out.
Okay. And why did you do that? Like, what did you think?
Because I figured she was dead too.
Okay. What made you think that?
Because where the pillow was stuck.
Okay. And she obviously was not waking to your attempts to
No.
rouse her. Okay. Were you aware of her work schedule? Like, were you aware of what her work hours were the night before? At all?
Not that night, but she works crazy hours.
Okay. Did you go anywhere else in the house at that time?
No.
Okay. So you basically entered the residence, went straight to Dana's bedroom.
Yep.
Did what you did there and then exited the house basically the same way you came in.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't go to Hannah Mae's
Nope.
bedroom? Did you go to little Chris's
Nope.
bedroom? Okay. Did you hear anything in the house?
I heard Kylie crying.
You heard Kylie crying? Okay. Who is Kylie?
Hannah Mae's youngest daughter.
Okay. you could hear Kylie crying, was that when you were leaving the residence?
That's when I was walking out.
Okay. And what did you do then?
I went out to my truck, went out to my house, and told my wife.
What did you tell your wife?
That Frankie and Hannah Hazel was dead. That Dana was dead. And Chris and Gary was dead.
And Gary too?
Mhm.
Okay. So you told her Chris and Gary and Frankie and Hazel and Dana?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do next?
I told her we'd go out there and get the baby.
You told April you needed to go back and get the baby?
Yeah,
Did April come with you then?
yes.
How far away, how far of a drive is it from your house to Dana's house?
Probably not even a mile.
Okay. So you can get there in a few minutes or less than a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do when you got back?
And I parked by the mailbox. Because I know there's going to be a bunch of cops that coming. Because where Frankie and them was dead. So I parked there so once they got there, I could go out with Mom and Dad.
Okay. So you were trying to park your vehicle where you knew you could leave and go up and be with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
What just now? I'm sorry. Oh, you need to speak up. You still need a little bit more volume in your
Sorry.
voice there if you can.
I'll try to pay attention to that too, but it's hard to keep your voice up, so. So once you and April arrived back at Dana's house, you said you parked your car out by the street by the mailbox, right?
Yeah.
And did you go back into the house to get the baby?
No, I started to, I got to the screen door and something said to stay outside.
Okay.
I just turned around and went back to the truck.
Okay. You didn't feel like you could go in there
Nope.
at that point? Okay. And you went back out to the truck?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
There's a bunch of cops coming and I flagged one of them down.
Do you remember where they were from or anything?
And there's Pike and cop.
Okay. And what did you tell them?
I said there's at least one in there dead.
Did you tell them about the baby?
No,
Okay. Did they ask you who else might be in the house at all?
not then.
Okay. Did you stay at that location?
Yes,
Okay. And was there a point where the other officers arrived?
there's a bunch of them.
Okay. And did any of them enter the house and get the baby?
Yes, once the squad was there.
And did you find out if anybody else inside that house was dead?
Not then.
At what point did you find out?
They said I had my wife draw a picture of the way the layout was.
I'm sorry, Judge, I can't hear you.
Could you answer that again?
They asked my wife to draw a picture of the layout of the house.
Okay, so April drew a picture of the house for the police so they would know basically where various bedrooms would be?
Yes,
Okay. And at what point did you learn that the other people inside the house were dead?
I didn't.
Say it again.
I didn't.
You didn't? The police never told you what they found
Nope.
inside the house? Okay. Were you still present when they went inside the house?
Yes,
Okay. And did they bring the baby out?
yeah,
And you were there when they brought the baby out?
yeah.
Okay. And what happened when they brought the baby out? What did they do with Kylie?
They put her in the squad, checked her out, make sure she was all right.
Okay. You said they put her in a squad?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they take her by squad someplace?
They took her to the hospital.
Okay. Do you know if anybody rode with her?
April rode with her.
How long were you at Dana's house?
Probably hour and a half.
Okay. Did you eventually go back up to Frankie's at all
In a cop car.
in a cop car? So they drove you up there?
Yep.
Okay. And were you able to see your parents at that time?
Nope.
Okay. Were they not there anymore?
They was there, but I sat in a cop car.
You had to sit there. Okay. And did you eventually go to the sheriff's office and give a statement?
Yes.
Okay, so for everybody who's just tuning in, this is James Manley. Okay, James is Dana Roden's brother. He is also Bobby Joe Manley's brother. Bobby Joe is the woman. She's also Dana's sister. Dana Roden is the mother. Bobby Joe Manley is who is the first person to have arrived at the Roden residence. She went to Chris Roden Sr.'s house because she was going to feed the dogs. So she's the one that happened upon the initial crime scene. And then she went to Frankie Roden and Hannah Gillies' house next. And she was let in by their 3-year-old son. And she is who discovered Frankie Roden and Hannah Gilly had been murdered. And in between them and on the bed was their young son, 8 months, 5 or 8 months, I can't remember now, old, covered in blood. Okay. So she's with her friend, Billy Morgan, and they get in their vehicle after she's called 911. They go up the road. It's not that far, right? They just go over to Bobby Joe and James Manley's parents' house. They all lived on this big property. Okay. And when that happened, James Manley followed everybody in his vehicle. And he is who discovered his sister, Dana Roden, deceased. So he's the only witness that has testified so far today that consented to be shown, basically. So that is what's happening here. Um, oh, thank you. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me think what else. I think that covers it as far as where we are up to this point. And the thing of it is, he's already, like I said, kind of soft spoken, but it sounds, there's like a hesitation in his voice that is likely holding back rage. I mean, this is the person, George Wagner the Fourth, who took part in the murder of his sister, his niece, his nephew, his nephew's fiance, his brother-in-law. So, this was hard. And that it's got to be hard for him to sit here and testify with George sitting so close. So, I really I admire him, and I'm sure there are going to be people that say whatever they're going to say, but I just he's this has got to be hard.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry. When people walk, it's very creaky. Um, and did you tell them everything, basically what you've told us here today?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Aussie girl
And
Jen, I didn't see you come in.
did they also want to take your boots?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you give them your boots?
No.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I just bought them.
Say it again.
Just bought them
Okay.
for $200 boots.
Okay. Do you remember what kind they were?
Red Wing logger boots.
Red Wing what?
Logging boots.
Okay. Did they take pictures of your
Yes.
boots? Okay. Did they take anything else from you on that day?
Made me leave my truck set there at Dana's.
Made you leave the truck there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like that you guys are here.
So after you were done at the sheriff's office, how did you get to your next place?
I called Mom and Dad to come pick me up.
Okay. Did you end up at the church at all that day?
Yeah.
And is that a church that your family goes to?
Yeah.
Okay, it's right there on Union Hill Road.
Yep.
Okay. It's a place they had a service for your father, right?
Yep.
Did you also provide a written statement for the police?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad it's warming up for you, Aussie girl Jen. We've got a couple of systems out there in the Atlantic, kind of right off. They're not right off anymore. They've moved, but they're coming off of the coast of Africa that are trying to do something. So we'll see. It's been thankfully a very quiet hurricane season this year, and I'm glad because who needs that?
Yes.
Mr. Manley, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit P, as in Paul, P8.
Oh, before I forget, while I'm thinking about it, because she's showing him something right now, there are going to be exhibits, photographs shown in shortly here while she's speaking to this witness. Now, before the photographs were shown, this was something they talked about this morning, that the prosecutor would do a good job of giving the media a heads up before publishing the picture, so that the media doesn't inadvertently show graphic content. But I can't remember exactly what it is that they show, but I mean, it is going to be of the crime scene. There's no bodies or anything, that was already a given, but just to be on the safe side, obvious, just here's a little trigger warning for everybody just ahead of it. Okie dokie, artichoke. Okay, here we go.
Can you tell me if you recognize that?
Yep,
Yes, Sam,
How do you
trigger warning.
recognize it?
that's what I wrote down.
Okay, so you recognize that as your handwriting?
Yep.
Okay. And you basically, they just asked you to provide a written statement about what happened. Is
Yep.
that correct? Okay.
Yep. That's what you do. And the Gulf is warm too, which I'm on the Gulf side, so I always have to keep an eye out, especially if it's
Do
a
you
slow
have
moving
any
system, the
memory
longer
of
it
how
plays in
long
the
you were at
Gulf.
the church that day?
Couldn't tell you a time frame, but
Okay.
after we left sheriff's department over here, went from
After you
that
left what?
sheriff department.
Oh, yeah, what did used to be right here, wasn't it?
Yep.
And was there some point where you also learned that Kenneth Roden had been killed?
Yep.
And how did you learn that?
And after we got to church,
Okay. So you found out when you were still at the sheriff's office,
at church,
at the church?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Are
right.
you even listening to him, ma'am? He said at the church. Who is coughing? Get them out of there. We don't need another delay.
Mr. Manley, I'm just going to show you some pictures and ask you to identify
Oh, no,
them,
Sam.
and I'll ask you questions about them, okay?
Sam, I wish you could come to and live in Florida
my
with me.
sister's place.
What'd you say?
That's my sister's place.
Okay. And your sister Dana?
Yep.
Place? Okay. The exhibit number for the record is C3. Okay, and that picture appears to be taken from the road.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Okay.
See, now this is what happens when you choose to share your
Dana's
entire
driveway.
screen and not
You said
Your
Dana's
tab.
driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
And
one?
then the walkway leading up to the home?
Yep.
Do we have an exhibit number?
I'm
What's the
sorry,
number?
C52. Five, two. Okay, and so that's the walkway up to the front of
Yeah.
her house. Okay. And can you tell us, did that home have an addition on it?
Yes.
Okay, and a kind of a cellar or basement?
Like a little basement like.
Okay. All right.
I love it. The weather here I love in Florida, but Florida's expensive to live. Here we go, showing the full screen. Bless it.
And it states exhibit C94.
There has got to be a better system for this where she can just,
Front door to Dana's house.
Okay. And is that the door that you entered on that day?
Yes.
Okay. And there appears to be a screen door and a regular door. Which one, when you said you knocked on it, opened it, are you talking about the hard door?
The hard door.
Can you imagine all
better
the
name
fun
for
we'd
it?
have in Florida, me and you,
Front
Sam?
door.
Front door.
I would take you to the beach
yeah.
every day. Every day would be beach
okay.
day.
77.
Beaches and mimosas.
7736.
7736.
C97.
Dana's living room.
Okay. And is that as you walk in the front door?
Yes.
So those kind of tiles there would be right when you walk in the front door. And then which way do you go to Dana's room?
To the left.
Okay.
I'm going to put him up at 1.25.
Okay, yeah. Okay. When you walk to the left there, oh, okay, sorry. We'll do that. The next one's fine. 7737, very next one. And this is C98. Okay, is that the area that you walked through?
Yes.
Okay. And it appears that there's a kitchen after you leave the living room. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. And
Yes,
a little bathroom
Sam,
there
that would be the
in the living room to the
funnest.
right before the
Yeah.
fridge. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
That's all right. One of these
Can you
days I'm
see the
going to get
hallway,
to Ireland
that
for
you would
reals,
walk
for
down?
reals.
Yes.
in that picture.
Right there by the refrigerator.
Go
Okay.
see my other motherland.
730. Yep.
Yes,
Faith Exhibit
Wilson
C,
man.
191.
Perfect. Oh, gosh.
Dana's bedroom.
Okay. And is that the side of the bed that you would have walked up on?
Yes.
Okay. And is that how you found the bedroom when you
I
arrived
know. I
in the
feel
bedroom?
awful
Couldn't
that he
tell it
has
dark
to
in
do
there.
this.
Okay. But
Bless his
I'll
heart.
ask it a different way. Could you feel any part of her body, or could you only feel her body through the covers?
Through the cover.
Okay. You indicated that you picked up the pillow and you could tell it was sticking, and so you dropped it back down or let it back down. Did you remove any of the covers or change anything at all?
No.
Okay.
Kez,
You
do-
did not pull
Kez,
covers
chick,
over
do you need
her
me to
or-
No.
talk to Charlie? Need me to get a hold of Charlie? Oh, I've got to get to Ireland. That is a bucket list thing, and I will do it one of these days. I just feel so awful for him. I do.
That's Dana's bedroom.
Okay, and that's the bed.
Yeah.
And
Is it a number?
C198.
Charlie, you're better than that. Come on. Act right or get left. You want to be in timeout? Because that's how you get in timeout. All right. Hopefully that straightens Charlie up and Charlie starts acting right.
7840, which is C201. You need to do it. 7840.
Meanwhile, Alice is sleeping like a little angel, all curled up. She looks adorable.
That's Dana's bedroom.
Okay.
Sam, you know me so well. I love you.
I'm going to ask you to step out of this box real quick. And State's Exhibit C433. Do you recognize what this is? Okay.
Nah, she
And,
already acted a fool today.
so
Hey,
in
nonstop mom.
Correct.
She's
Can
already
you just
got
show
her
us what
spicy
happened?
enchilada out. That was earlier. She's crashed out now.
would be beside the bed and shoot. So you didn't go up here and down the hallway.
Probably Vincent.
Oh, here she is.
She's waiting for 10 minutes before my alarm goes off to stand on top of me and holler. That's what she's waiting for. She's doing this new thing now where when we go to bed, she paws at the covers to
7716,
climb underneath and
which
wants
is
to sleep under the
C78.
covers with her head out. Like, she's so cute. She's really my best friend, you guys. I don't know what else
Garage
to
on Dana's
say.
property.
I just love her.
Okay. And the very next one, 7720, which is not the very next one, which is C82.
Inside of the garage,
Okay. Had you ever been inside that area
a couple
before?
of times.
Huh?
A couple of times.
Okay. And did you know what they were using that for?
They just used it for storage.
Okay. And was there part of the garage that Hannah was using for
That
pictures?
one there,
That room right there? Okay. And so what was she doing?
that's where she put her cameras and stuff.
Okay. And do you know who she did that with?
Chelsea,
And who's Chelsea?
Frankie's oldest son's mom.
Okay. And so they just had a little, would they take pictures in there and stuff, or
I couldn't tell you.
you just knew there were cameras in there?
Yep.
Okay, all right. 7680.
Dana's vehicle and Hannah's vehicle.
C42. You said Dana's vehicle and Hannah Mae's vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know which one's which?
The gray one's Dana's, red one's Hannah's.
Okay. And 7693. C55.
Pictures of Dana's vehicle and the Jeep, and I ain't sure about the G6 or whatever it is there.
Okay, all right. So you don't recognize the red car that's in the forefront?
Nope.
Okay. 7731. C93.
It's inside of the garage.
Okay, that same little area you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about you and Frankie doing the derby cars together sometimes. Did you have a good relationship with Hannah Mae also?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about little Chris?
He's usually there,
You said he was there?
working on the derby cars with us.
Oh, he would?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, Your Honor?
The defense may cross-examine.
Good afternoon, Mr. Manley. How are you?
All right.
Good. Thanks for being here. My name's John Parker. I'm one of the attorneys for George. I know it's difficult for you to be here, but we just have a few questions if we could.
All right.
And you have a very soft voice, so just make sure you speak in that microphone so I can hear you. If I can hear you back here, everyone else should be able to hear you.
All right.
If I ask you a question you don't understand, please say so, and I'll try to rephrase it. So you knew Chris Sr., obviously.
Yep.
And how long had Chris Sr. and Dana been together, would you say?
I think Dana was 16 or 17 when they got married.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Dana was 16 or 17 when they got married.
Okay. Do you know how much older Chris was than Dana?
Couldn't tell you.
I'm sorry?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. He was a little bit older than her.
Yep.
Okay. And at some point they got a divorce, right?
Yep.
Do you know why they got a divorce?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. But they stayed friendly and together basically, even though they got a divorce. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And as I understand it, Chris was a pretty generous man with his money. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
He would help out Dana as much as he could?
Yeah.
And other family members?
Yes.
All right. And he would often give them cash if they needed it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where he worked?
He worked for himself and worked down at Big Bear Lake.
Okay. And were you aware of his marijuana grow operations?
No.
You didn't know anything about that?
No.
Now, the night or the day this all happened, these terrible events happened, you didn't go to work because it was a rainy day, right?
It'd been raining.
It had been raining. And in your logging business, you don't work under those conditions, right?
No.
Okay. Did you ever go to Chris's house?
Sometimes.
Okay. On the day that we're talking about, did you go over to his house?
No.
You went to Frankie's first, is that right?
Yes.
Right. You went inside and you looked at him and Hannah Mae, is that right?
Hannah Gilly.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Hannah Gilly. You went and saw Frankie and Hannah Gilly.
Yes.
Was there anybody else in there when you were?
My dad was. My sister was. My son was.
Did you all gather in any particular room at any time?
Right there at the hallway and Frankie's bedroom.
Do you know if anybody removed anything from Frankie's house?
Not that I know of.
And then you went up to Dana's, as I understand it, to check on her and tell her what you had found out.
Yes.
Right. And her door was unlocked?
It was shut. When I knocked on it, it opened up.
Okay, so it was not locked from the inside, right?
I don't know if it was latched all the way in the latch or what it was.
Okay, but when you knocked, it opened slightly.
When I knocked on the door, it just,
You did not go inside at that point,
yes,
or did you go inside?
I did.
You did go inside.
He said he
Did
did.
you go straight to her bedroom?
Yes.
All right. And it was dark inside, right?
In her room it was.
In her room, it was dark. Okay. When you're at the doorway to her room, can you see Hannah Mae's bed?
Not when it's dark in there.
Okay, but let's say it was light. If it's lit up, if you're standing in Dana's doorway, can you see Hannah Mae's bed?
No, not at the doorway.
Okay. There's a little hallway from Dana's bedroom to Hannah Mae's. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you described this as when you went to check on Dana, she was covered up with the blanket or the quilt.
Yes.
You could not see her body at all.
No.
How
I'm not
long do you
doing
think you were
anything,
inside her
Keschick.
house at that time?
Less than a minute.
It's YouTube. It's a new. They're having a this late. I can't even talk. This last
I believe,
update caused glitches with the chat where
Hannah
it'll
Mae's
just
child
time
was
out.
taken to the hospital. Is
This
that right?
time it's
Yes.
not Alice.
Did you go to the
Alice is still
hospital
sleeping
yourself?
like a little
No.
angel.
Did your wife go to the hospital?
Yes.
She rode in the squad with the baby,
Yes.
but you were never at the hospital.
No.
Let's talk about Hannah Mae for just a moment. You knew she had just had a baby, right?
Yes.
Just a few days before.
Honestly,
Had
if
you
you're
met the
having
baby yet?
technical difficulties,
Don't
I'd
think so.
blame Mac.
But you heard the baby as you were
Cats.
leaving.
Yes.
He's naughty
Do you know
too.
who the father of the baby was?
Charlie Gilly. Charlie Gilly.
Okay. Did you know Jake Wagner?
No dubbing.
You know of him because he and Hannah Mae used to be together.
If
Yes.
she does,
Had
Keschick,
you ever
she
seen
ain't
him?
telling. I've asked her.
Yes. That like the Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Okay. Would he be over at the Manley house?
Sometimes.
Now, you had your own cell phone on this day, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't working for some reason?
was out of time.
Was out of time. And your wife had her own phone.
Yes,
Did you use her phone sometimes, right?
yeah. I
You
used it.
called your boss to see if you needed to come into work.
Yeah,
Did you receive a text message from Jake that morning?
no,
You did not. On your wife's phone?
no,
On your own phone?
no,
Were you ever questioned by the authorities about that?
yes,
Oh, thank you, Sam.
So over at Chris's, back over at Chris Senior's, you did not know about his marijuana grow operation.
no,
Did you know about the big barn he was building?
no,
You did not know about that.
no,
He said
Did you know about the
no.
pigs he had?
yes.
Where did he keep his pigs?
Yes,
Down
the
by
bench
the-
shoes. That was so funny.
They were looking barn there in the front yard.
Okay, do you know how many he had?
I think it was 2.
Okay, he had 2 pigs. Okay. And he had some dogs, right?
Yes,
Were you familiar with the dogs?
yeah,
And he had some dogs out in the barn, right?
All right,
Yeah.
test check.
Any idea about how many?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. And he had a couple indoor dogs, is that right?
Yes,
Did you know their names by any chance?
one was Paisley, one was Chance, and I can't remember the boy dog.
Okay, so he had 3 indoor dogs?
Yeah.
All right, nonstop,
Okay.
Mom.
And do you
Thank
know
you.
if he had an electronic fence
For
around the
being
front of
here.
his property there to keep the
Yes.
dogs?
Yes,
All right. And do you know if Chance and the other indoor dogs had those collars on to keep them in that area?
yes,
Had you ever seen Chance be mean at all towards
Mm.
other people?
no,
What's the?
Did Frankie have any pets?
yes.
What kind of pets did he have?
He had, he had chickens and had some dogs.
Okay, were his dogs out back behind his place?
That's where he kept them at a lot of times.
Okay. When you were over at Frankie's house this day, were there any dogs inside?
I didn't see none.
Do you know if Frankie was into fighting roosters or fighting chickens?
Could be.
All right. What about Chris?
I couldn't tell you.
Do you know if Chris Senior traveled out of town much?
Couldn't tell you.
Did you know who he worked with down at Big Bear Lake?
His brother and Robin Woodhill,
Okay, and who is Robin?
the guy that owns the lake.
Do you know if he and Chris traveled much together or ever?
I know it a couple times.
Pardon me?
I've known it a couple times.
Okay, do you know where they went by any chance?
Nope.
Now, Dana had just recently moved in the house that you went into, correct?
Yes,
She's been there about a month or so,
right around the month.
right around there. And is it true that Chris Senior bought that place for her?
Was buying it.
They were buying it. Do you know if he paid cash for it or not, or if he got a loan?
Paid cash for part of it, and then the rest of it's through a loan.
Okay. Do you know how much he paid cash?
Don't know.
Did you know Billy Wagner?
Note of him
Note of him. Had you met him before?
once or twice at Chris's.
I'm sorry, at Chris's place?
Yes,
Okay. So it was your understanding that Billy and Chris Senior were friends?
I know they talked.
They talked. Okay.
These are people that just mind their own beeswax. They're not a bunch of nosy Parkers. I like James.
Did you know Chris Senior of having 4th of July parties?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Frank,
We'd
okay,
have
hold on, I'll tell
fireworks.
you.
It's a big event every year?
So, okay, Frankie is Chris Sr. and Dana Roden. It's their son. They had 3 children. Dana and Chris Sr. had 3 children. They had Frankie, Hannah, and Chris Jr. Frankie has another government name, but he went by Frankie, and I can't remember what his first name actually, his legal first name is, but everybody calls him Frankie. All right. Oops, I pushed the wrong thing. Okay, here we
Yep.
go.
Kind of a really nice big display of fireworks.
Yes.
Everybody looked forward to it, right?
Yep.
A lot of drinking going on too.
Some.
Some. You would provide that, right?
You brought your own.
Pardon me?
You brought your own.
Brought your own. Okay. But the fireworks were something everyone enjoyed, right?
Yes.
Quite a big display.
Pretty good size.
Pretty good size. And that area between Frankie's trailer and Chris's trailer is where he would have a trailer, kind of a flatbed trailer to set off the fireworks, right?
Yes.
Oh, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
just-
I love setting off fireworks. That's my favorite thing. And they're legal. Well, I don't know how they're legal in some parts of Florida. I have to check. I can't do it at this house because there's too many trees. So we haven't been able to do it since we've been here, but the house we had before this,
Just a couple more questions.
they had a
sir.
huge
Appreciate your
backyard and
patience.
no trees.
Do
And
you
oh my
know
gosh.
if
Oh,
Chris
it had one
Sr.
big tree, but it
owned
was,
rental
you know,
property
in
at
the
all?
corner. It was so much
Mm,
fun.
I
Those are
don't
my
know.
favorite.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. We have no further questions.
Okay, I want to rewind it real
State
quick
wish to
because I
redirect.
don't understand this question.
Not that I know of.
Just a couple more questions, sir. Appreciate your patience. Do you know if Chris Sr. owned rental property at all?
Not that I know of.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. We have no further questions.
All right. All right, so that was that. There was no redirect. The paramedic didn't have a whole lot really to contribute. I just really wanted to go over James's testimony because he just broke my heart. And I just oh, you're welcome, Sam. Love you. Sweet dreams, babe. He just really broke my heart. And I don't know. I just wanted to go over his testimony and I just felt awful for him because you know, I'm pretty sure that Bobby Joe had to look at the pictures as well, but we didn't get to obviously because she wasn't filmed. We don't know what she was asked and stuff like that. But yes, and 5, 6, 7, 8, we do. We need a diagram. You know what I'm going to do? I think for the rest of the trial, I'm going to make my background the family tree. And so that way I can have it where I do, it won't, let me see if it'll, since it's just me up here, it won't really like change it or anything, obviously, but in the background, I'll have the family tree. And so that way I can just like take myself like this. I'll just take myself off. And then every so often, yeah, that way you guys can know who all the family members are because it is a little bit complicated how they're all related to one, you know, it's not complicated that they're related. The fact that I can't think of another trial in recent history where it's been a situation like this, where it has been an entire family murdered by another family. I can't think of another case in recent history that's happened. And so knowing, hey, Elizabeth, good evening. And so knowing how the family is all related to one another is important. And I think that's what I'll do for tomorrow. I don't know if it's like 10:30 now. I don't know if I'll be able to do it tonight, but definitely I'll have it done by tomorrow night for sure, so that we know how everybody is connected and related. And I really liked James because it's really nagging at me though about why he asked James if Chris had rental property. Like, what does that have to, I don't understand what that was about. Obviously there's a reason for that. He didn't just ask him that question for no reason. There's something behind that, but I can't figure out what it is. And I would, I suppose if we'd been able to, oh, you just missed it, Elizabeth. We just did James Manley. His testimony was televised, and that's it. Well, his testimony and the last person to testify, which was a paramedic, but he didn't really have, like, you know, anything like that we didn't already know. You know what I mean? Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is the dirty South. So yeah, I'm hoping, Elizabeth, that tomorrow is a new day and a better day. And while I understand Bobby Joe's reason, and I forget who else it was today, other than the police officer, I don't understand the police officer not wanting to be televised. That's I mean, he has the option. It is what it is, but I don't understand the reasoning behind it. The family, that I understand and respect. Um, yes. Yeah, I just played it. I just played it. So if you go, I'll help you, Elizabeth. You can either rewind mine, which I would like if you don't mind, or if you go to Law and Crime, their footage for today, if you go to the 5 hour 11 minute mark, that's when it starts. About there. So yeah, it's just, this is a sad case, and so many people want to are interested in this case. I was watching the chat because I had Law and Crime on my TV while I did all the things around the house I needed to get done, and I kept waiting for them to, like, come in and whatnot. But I was, as I would come in and out of the bedroom, I would look at the chat, and so many people were, this is the way they felt about it. Mostly they were annoyed about it. They didn't understand the cop not having his uh testimony um televised. Everybody kind of understood the family, right? They got that, but the officer, they didn't. And basically what they were saying is what the same thing I was saying. So okay, if they're not going to have they knew this was a thing because there was a hearing about this. And oh, I'm sure, Elizabeth. I mean, watching James broke my heart because they're showing him pictures of his sister's house, and it's awful. And so like I said, the family, I get, it's the public, the other, like the officer. I don't understand why, he didn't want to be filmed, but um, ba- I don't know, Kez. I don't know because I didn't get to hear what he testified to. But at the end of the day, when all of this is said and done, when the trial is over, the transcript will be available. Um, but that's just the way it is. But um, anyway, the chat was mostly like, okay, Law and Crime Network knew that this was a possibility because there was a hearing about this, right? About how much about the opting out, yada yada yada. So why didn't they prepare for this and have somebody in the courtroom taking? I mean, they're there. They are okay. So they are recording the footage. Okay. What they're not doing is streaming the footage. So it's all there. So what I don't understand is why, and this is what the chat said, why they didn't have somebody from Law and Crime giving a recap about what occurred, about what the testimony was. I think that are some news channels that might have done it, some local news channels, and I'll look for that. And if we have a day tomorrow like we had today, where we don't have a lot of people who agree to be videoed, then I'll try to find that um, news footage to get a recap for us because I'd like to know what's happening. But I don't want to be I don't want to be intrusive. This family has suffered enough, and I don't want to be somebody that brings any at all, even a tiny bit of suffering to them at all, even a slight inconvenience or annoyance. I don't want to do any of that because I feel awful for this family. I do. And but yeah, we'll figure something out. So I will absolutely. I'm gonna have my live scheduled for not 8:50 like I did today, Eastern time. So make sure that you have your notifications set to all, and hopefully we'll have some more testimony tomorrow, and if not, we'll figure something out. The other option that we have, I don't know if how many of you guys are. I'm interested in it, so I'm kind of catching up between this. Is the second Alex Jones trial in Connecticut? I mean, if you guys want to, we can flip back and forth. I can watch. I can stream one while we wait for the other. However, you guys want to do it, just let me know in the morning and we'll do that. So, oh, yay, Kez Chick. I'm glad you'll be here. But anyway, this is what I guess I'm going to end it for tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. It's, you guys are very supportive and I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Are we on Tuesday already? Yes, I feel like that's right. Yes, Tuesday. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:50. All right. Good night, you guys. Bye.